and welcome to the Lyreco webinar series, when we shine a light on the fantastic suppliers, partners and projects that help us meet the unique needs of our customers. Today we are excited to present the first interview with one of our innovative suppliers, who specialize in crafting workwear designs especially for women. In an industry often dominated by standard sizing and generic designs, these suppliers have taken a bold step towards addressing the distinct requirements of female professionals. As the workplace continues to evolve, so do the expectations of comfort, safety and style for all employees. Yet, when it comes to the workwear, there has been a gap in options tailored to the unique fit and functionality women need. That's why we are thrilled to introduce you to the visionaries who are not only filling this void, but also revolutionizing the workwear industry for women across different sectors. In this insightful interview, we'll delve into their journey, their commitment to quality, sustainability and inclusivity, as well as challenges they have overcome to bring their exceptional products to the market. We'll also explore how their designs are not just about the fashion, but about empowerment and equipping women with the confidence and comfort they need to excel in their respective fields. Join us as we get to know the faces and minds behind these remarkable brands and learn how their dedication to providing top-notch workwear for women is reshaping the industry one garment at a time. So without further ado, let's dive into this fascinating conversation with the suppliers who are making workwear for women a game changer in the professional world. Today we are hosting George Coffey, the Business Development Manager at V12. Hi George.
Hello.
V12 is a family-run company specializing in safety footwear, and footwear is today's topic, especially the range designed for female. Can you tell us about the origins of your company and how you got started in the PPE footwear industry?
Absolutely. So V12 is a family-run business, and it was founded back in September of 1998. So we've actually just celebrated our 25th anniversary, which is a big milestone for us. It was started by Andy and Ben Turner, two brothers who are fifth-generation shoemakers. So footwear and shoes is very much embedded into the family. They originally worked for their family's PPE businesses before branching out and doing their own thing, which was safety footwear and creating V12. V12 itself has grown into a well-renowned and industry leader in regards to safety footwear. Me personally, I joined the company about 2.5 years ago. I've actually had that sort of passion for footwear firmly embedded in me. So it's really nice to have people who genuinely care about not only the industry and the product they're making, but everything that surrounds that. So yeah, it's a great place to work.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much for that. And what motivated you to focus on creating a female range for footwear within the PPE industry?
So this actually started, believe it or not, around about 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
We were actually approached by a large end user, which was London Underground, and they were concerned about their ever-growing female workforce, but the lack of PPE for women that was on the market, and footwear was a part of that. So we actually decided we wanted to help them with that, and we started to run some sort of research workshops with 100 different women from the London Underground.
That's cool.
It is, yeah, and within that we managed to draw out some fantastic data around what the differences were, ask about the pain points and the issues that they were facing, and it helped us come together and understand that there really was differences, anatomical differences between male and female foot, the foot shape, and we needed to work on that. So yeah, that's kind of where it was born from and what motivated us to do it.
So before then, you didn't focus on the female range at all?
No, absolutely not. No, it was actually them that drew us to it and made us realize that there was a difference and a market for it, and it was the right market as well, because there was some big differences, or there were some big differences. So
yeah. Amazing. How has your approach to designing and supplying the PPE for women evolved during all these years since you started?
So from those workshops, it actually took us 2.5 years with the data we had, around 4,000 different foot scans on female foot.
A lot of work.
Yes, global foot scans as well. It took us 2.5 years to create the last. So the last is the female foot shape that we use to create the footwear. It took us 2.5 years to get to that point. So we actually started off on a very good foot in that we had the overall solution, I guess you could say, for the problems they were facing from the very beginning. So the evolution of our product and our range is more coming from just product development and new products that we bring to market. Everything has evolved from that one last shape.
Oh, that's amazing. And can you remember any significant milestone or achievement in your journey? Was that the one?
That's one of them, and we've had quite a few as a company. Yes, the last is a big thing for us, especially because even to this day, we are still the only recognized safety footwear brand with that true fitting women's last. So that's a big milestone for us to still have that within the range. A few other milestones for us have been in 2019, we actually won an innovation award for our safety sports range, which covered both male and female fit across 2 different last shapes, obviously.
Yes.
Vegan friendly, metal free, XL sizes, there was chemical splash resistance. So it really showed that V12 had product that suited all different requirements from the customers. And a more recent one was actually October of this year, where we won, or we were commended for Safety Innovation of the Year for our women's metatarsal boot.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So that was a new product that we released, I believe, about 2 months ago. And that has been a fantastic thing for us to achieve so early on in its life, I guess.
Have you received any feedback on that specific product already?
Yes, lots of positive feedback based around the comfort, the technology that's keeping the metatarsal protected. That's actually something that we've developed ourselves. So yeah, huge amounts of feedback. It also closed out a gap that was in the industry for women of a high leg waterproof boot. So there was actually no high leg waterproof boots for women on the market until this point. So that closed that out.
So you're pioneering?
Yes, we like to think so. Yeah.
Brilliant. And what type of industry and professions have you primarily served with your female workwear range? Is that specific challenges you can see which are being addressed to the women itself?
Yeah, so our footwear covers a number of different verticals: energy, construction, engineering, manufacturing, waste and recycling. But they all ask for sort of different requirements of the boots.
Definitely.
And so it's a very, very widespread industries that we can serve. In regards to challenges, the main one and the biggest one I think that covers all areas of female PPE, not just footwear, is around fit.
Yeah.
The main one for us to address was the fact the issues they were having with the actual size of the shoe, the fact it wasn't fitting, it was loose around the ankles, which was meaning there was more opportunity for ankle injury, blistering, rubbing, all that sort of stuff. So we really wanted to address fit as the main thing for us.
Yeah, I've noticed already that footwear and the trousers are the kind of the pitch point of the every challenge within the female PPE industry, and there is a massive gap. That's brilliant to hear that your company is covering that, at least the footwear at this topic.
Absolutely, and it goes down again to the last thing that we've already mentioned. The differences between it, which I appreciate I haven't touched on yet, which I think is really important to do so. The foot structure of a woman is so varied, or so different to a man's. You have a narrow waist point, a different toe structure, a shorter but higher Achilles tendon. So there's a lot of different things that need to be taken into account when creating female footwear. So,
and was it hard to enter the market itself?
Absolutely, yeah. So the majority of female footwear in the market, unfortunately, to this day, is still men's sizes that have been made smaller and been made to look like a female work boot, or they are made on a foot with a female last that isn't actually an accurate representation of female foot structure. So we wanted to try and steer clear of that sort of mismarketed substandard safety footwear and go with our true fit women's last. And it's been a challenge because not everyone believes in it, but we do, and we know that we've got the right solution for people.
So how female and male last differ?
Based on the anatomy of what I've just mentioned. So we have a separate male and female last, both using the same data. So we took 4,000 scans from both feet to create it, and that's based on foot structure from across the world.
So you've done your research, definitely.
Absolutely, down to a T, to the measurements, to basically get the best average size that we can get to cover as many people as possible within industry. So that's how we've sort of narrowed it down. But yeah, as I mentioned, the foot structure changes so differently or so much within footwear that's how you can see it. So you'll see it if you hold a boot up and even look at the waist section on the boot, which is the midpoint. You will notice how much narrower the female is to the male. But
we can now specify that this is the female and male last. But actually, what about the general look of the footwear? Is there any difference? Because what I found so far, there is a lot of female footwear or female PPE in general, and being called female only because they are pink.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. Pink it and shrink it is a term that's used very much within the industry in regards to men's footwear being made smaller and just making feminine colours on there, I guess you could say, which is the wrong thing to do and exactly what we want to try and avoid. But yes, so we try and make sure the aesthetics are exactly the same within the footwear. So we want to make sure that there's no differentiation between the men's and female footwear in terms of the looks. You will never actually see the difference, other than looking at the waist that I just mentioned. You will never visibly see the difference between the lasting on the finished product. You will just feel it. So yeah, we want to try and make sure that we just have it as equal as possible, basically, in all of our designs.
So women can fit into the industry instead of standing out.
They can fit in terms of how everyone else looks, but they have the fit that makes them safe and comfortable. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And can you share some examples of feedback or requests from your customers that you influenced your product design?
Absolutely, yes. So going back to the TFL workshops that we worked on, within one of the questions asked to those 100 women within that were what do you see as most important in terms of aesthetics, your footwear, in terms of design? And actually over 90% of those women came back saying they don't want any form of difference in design. They want it to look exactly the same, just fit perfectly.
And feel comfortable.
Yeah, so that's been the real basis for us moving forward as a company when developing female footwear.
That's amazing. That's great. I think there are two approaches when we are talking about female footwear and PPE in general. So one is, as you just said, to fit into the industry and fit into my group of colleagues around me. Yeah. But the other one, it's kind of the topic which we can talk how female actually want to stand out, and we prefer different colors, different designs, which is not always true, but I think it's good to have that choice.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be, as I say, there was 90% of people that wanted it the same. There's 10% was a difference. So
definitely,
we do have to look down that avenue for certain things. At the moment, we're sticking to what we have with the majority. But yeah, eventually there may be little things that come out from that where we can add a few adaptations. We do have one boot within the range called the Intrepid, which was actually the first boot that came from this whole project.
Oh, right.
And that is one of the ranges that does look very different to the men's range. There is no men's equivalent to that in terms of aesthetics. Okay. So there are little things like that we can do. But yeah, it's about finding out what's the most important for the average.
Yes, definitely. Have you encountered any regulatory or compliance challenges in the PPE industry, particularly when designing the female footwear?
Absolutely, and unfortunately so, because we don't want to face any compliance issues. Yes. But as the majority are still being handed men's fitting footwear, there are still those issues of fit, comfort, and problems basically because being too big. So some of the ones we see are around women not being happy with the footwear they're given because it's not comfortable. So going out and buying their own, and there is a huge compliance issue with that in that if they don't know the safety specification that's recommended at the site, they can be wearing non-specified footwear, or unfortunately there's a lot of product in the market in this day and age that is able to be purchased in the UK through certain websites, but doesn't actually meet the EN approval for standards. Okay. So you could be having people on site wearing completely non-compliant footwear.
That's worrying.
It's a big worry. Yeah, there's been some recent studies for the BSIF on this, which have sent out some quite shocking numbers in regards to only 17 products out of 127 actually passing the EN testing. So there's a lot of products in the market that can cause problems, and that's a real risk. Or another one it can be is it can go back to them putting on their old footwear. So because it feels more like something they're used to, more comfortable, but if that footwear's got good signs of wear and tear, especially across the sole unit or the toe cap, etc., this can become non-compliant because it's not living up to what it's supposed to be living up to.
Yes.
And for me, the biggest one out of all of them is when women are wearing men's footwear and they start to add insole after insole after insole to try and decrease the volume of the boot to make it fit.
Yeah.
This is a huge issue because there's only ever one insole inside safety footwear due to the fact that if you close out the thickness between what we call the safe zone between the toe cap and the toe, you have an accident, your footwear becomes non-compliant because you're not likely to get your foot out of the boot. So
yeah, that's the first bit. But then you can experience so many different issues when you're wearing that kind of uncomfortable, not fitted footwear when it comes to the back pain, spine problems.
Absolutely. This and bulking out with insoles may give you initial squish underneath the foot as well, where it can play around with the arches, the height of the boot, which can make things worse. So yes, unfortunately, there are a huge number of compliance issues that come from not issuing correct fitting footwear.
So it's always better to go to the specialists.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's where we can help. So we can come through distribution partners or even our own sort of channels to help educate people on that and make sure that they're getting the right fit.
Yes, that's amazing. And what innovations or product developments can we expect to see from your company in the near future, maybe?
Yes, so we have just actually released, as I said, about 2 months ago, the women's metatarsal boot, the Invincible. That has patented metatarsal technology in there for us. That's a really big innovation. Again, that took us 6 years to develop as a company.
Can you explain a little bit what it means?
Yeah, so we found there was gaps within the market on metatarsal protection. It's been in the market for a long, long time.
Okay.
The consistency of how many times that boot would pass the test has always varied. And we felt that we didn't want to bring something to market that was the same. We wanted to make sure we had a product that was consistently safe because we always focus on the safety.
Yes.
So without going into too much detail what's in there because it is patented, we've got a technology that does consistently pass over and over again to the point where we've tested that boot 6 times and had more than 6 millimeter clearance on the testing every single time. So it's a very safe boot. So that's why we patented it, and that's why it's a big innovation for us. Another one is we've just released actually last Monday, the women's Lynx range. So that's a fully carbon neutral range of products. So again, innovation wise, something that we like to think ahead of the game on compared to the rest of the industry, which is good. And innovations moving forward. Yes, there's stuff in the pipeline. We're always looking to grow the range. And we've got some really exciting thing coming up around different safety components within boots. But yes, without going into too much, just watch your space is all I can say.
Of course, and that's great to hear because Lyreco is so focused on innovation, but also sustainability and the safety as well. So that's a great partner to have.
Yes, absolutely.
And how do you plan to stay current with changing safety standards and industry trends in a PPE design for women? Because there's a lot of going on, a lot of changes, but I know you're playing proactive.
Yes, yeah.
But how do you plan to stand it?
So for us, moving forward, the safety standards is a big thing for us, not just in the female range, across all of our range. We recognise that they're in place, and they're in place for a good reason, and that's to increase the safety of the end user. So we are, again, without boasting too much, let's say we're ahead of the game on that, in that we were the first UK manufacturer to have a boot to the new EN ISO 20345 2022 standards. Okay. And one of the second boots that we released is actually the women's mesh tarsal boot. So in regards to being ahead of the game on the safety standards, especially in the women's range, we are there already. And hopefully the rest of the products will follow as we move along. And any new products we bring to market will hopefully have the same sort of markings to them, because we need to be ahead of it, basically. So we like to think we're quite far ahead of the game in terms of safety standards and on top of it.
That's amazing. And do you plan to expand your products in general, or just focus on footwear in general?
So I'm assuming by that you mean you're talking about us moving into gloves or other areas of
exactly.
PPE.
If you're such an amazing specialist, why not?
Because footwear is our speciality. As I say, Andy, Ben, and the rest of the family that's still involved are very much footwear embedded. That's our speciality. That's our niche. That's what we want to focus on. And we have in no way conquered safety footwear at all. There's a long way for us to go. There's a long way for the industry
It's still
to go.
the beginning, especially for female range. It is still, we are still in the early stages of that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you take some sort of safety stats, for instance, that were released last week by the HSW, there are still 33% of accidents at workplace are slip related. And that number is actually only going up. So it shows that there's still a lot more to be done in regards to safety on site and stuff like that. So yeah, we're very much focused on footwear and developing new innovations in footwear.
That's great to hear, because there's more and more women entering that industry. So it's great to know that there's a specialist on site and being proactive on what is going on actually and how the industry is changing. And discuss your sustainability and ethical considerations in product female workwear and PPE. Do you have any plans to enhance them?
So we are a accredited carbon neutral company. So every product that we design has some sort of sustainability sort of practice behind that, I guess you could say. We're not just accredited for putting money out into offsetting programs or planting trees, etc. We've actually tried to make physical changes to the way we work as a company. So we have started to move production closer to home. So the Lynx range, for instance, comes up for some of our European factories now, as opposed to the Far East. So we're able to remove sort of travel distances and carbon that comes from planes and ships, etc. And we're also using things like energy efficient solar panels on all of our factories and things like that now. So we're slowly making those changes that make us a far more sustainable company, and hopefully moving forward with developments that we have in terms of those and the materials we use, we can make more carbon neutral products or products that contain sustainable materials, basically. Yeah.
And bringing the production closer to home, do you think it will factor on the lead time of waiting for the products?
100%, yes. So yeah,
because this is one of the issue female has because there's no available products on the market. But you have to order them especially for them because of the smaller sizes or special design.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes, it does cut down lead time. So anything coming out of Europe can be as little as a 2-week lead time now.
Yes,
which is much better than the sort of 12-week on from sort of the Far East that we had. In terms of us as a company, actually, we're quite well equipped for that as well. We have over 100,000 pairs in stock, both male and female range, and we always have around 50 to 20,000 pairs on the water, we like to call it. That's basically in transit coming to us. So we like to think we're very well stocked, especially on the women's range. And a really good point you picked up on there that we haven't mentioned so far is sizing. We are the only UK manufacturer to go down to a size 1. So our female footwear range really does cater for the smallest foot to what we class as the bigger female foot, and when it gets to sort of size 8s and onwards. So
that's amazing. That's great information to know.
It's been a big thing for us having the size 1, but it's also been about getting out there and letting people know that we have that. So.
Yes, because where else you can find such a small size? There's no kids PPE, is it?
Absolutely, and unfortunately, I think women have always the industry standard has always been usually to stop at 3 in male and female footwear. So most people just settle thinking that's all they could get. So the fact you can come down even to a 2 and into a 1 is fantastic for the industry. So.
Yes, definitely. Do you think one of the reasons why females still don't receive the correctly fitted PPE is a lack of education? And if so, where we should find the information?
Yes, I do. I think there's two big things around that. There is a lack of education, but there's also a lack of wanting to understand that that is available for them. People don't seem to think there's such a thing. They don't want to invest in that, which is a real shame. But in regards to the information and education, we can massively help. We constantly run different blogs, e-learning pages, video content, presentations, anything along that. And we've actually started doing some stuff now and giving it back to you for your new safety hub as well. So you'll start to see some of the content around this sort of topic through the Lyreco website and stuff like that. So yes, there are a lot of different things where we can educate on the differences and why we focus on this so heavily.
And I saw on a website that you've got a shoe finder, which very simplify the journey of how can I provide the best equipment.
Yes, we have. It's a new feature, something that we've been working on for a couple of years, and we finally think it's correct and good enough to put out there. But yeah, it's almost a simple solution, but a very good one in that you can go in there, you can put in your details around gender, workplace environments, hazards, all this sort of stuff, and it will spit out the best boot and the correct specification for you. So if you're an end user that's uncertain on what you need, it will really help you go down to make sure you're getting the best product for you and keeping you as safe as possible. So yeah, it's a fantastic piece of equipment that you can use.
And what role do you see technology playing in the future of female workwear PPE?
So technology for us has always been a big part of everything we design. We think technology used in the right way can really help aid to better product, be that through manufacturing processes, materials used, or safety components. So to give you some examples, our new waterproof technology in our footwear, which features in the links actually, is our V-dry lining that has moisture management and climate control. So it basically means the more the foot works, the hotter it gets, the more sweat it produces, the harder the lining works to disperse that moisture and keep the foot dry and cool. So that's been a really good sort of innovation, bit of technology that we've used. And some technology around manufacturing, as we've started to use laser cutting on our uppers, which is a much more efficient practice when it comes to waste. So footwear, as you can imagine, is still very, very manual.
Yes.
There's a lot of hand labor and stuff that goes into it. So going to a practice like this allows us, one, to save time efficiencies, which obviously makes more product, but two, reduce the amount of product that's going to landfill afterwards as well. So that's a really big one for us. And there are also some fantastic innovations just within the industry that are spurring us on to look at new things. So you can get really advanced lacing systems nowadays, even insoles that that contain microchips, that can track your foot pressures and the temperature of your foot through your apps on your phone. So you can really get a full-scale view of your foot and how it's performing.
It is the future. It is definitely the future.
Absolutely. And these are things that are being designed in and around us, and are things that we really hope that we can push forward and hopefully put into the female range and really develop and advance that range that we have.
That's amazing. For me, it was amazing to also see the foot scanner.
Yes.
I think it changed the industry completely if it comes to the footwear.
Absolutely, yes. Something that we're very, very big on is the overall foot health of someone. So the musculoskeletal system, everything starts from your foot.
Yeah.
Even people get baffled sometimes when they hear me say your feet cause headaches, etc.
Of course, yes.
Because it's your whole makeup, basically. So yeah, that was a big one for us, just going out to site, assessing pressure points, arch shapes, actual foot structure, and making sure we had insoles in place that can support everyone's individual needs to make sure that we can reduce all the things we've spoken about: injuries, plantar fasciitis, sweat, diabetes, another big one, having stitch-free insoles. So there's a huge amount of stuff that we can focus on and support through that service, basically.
Thank you very much, George. It was a pleasure to having you here. I hope you found this conversation insightful. There is still a lot to achieve in female PPE world. However, companies like V12 are setting a new high standards for female safety footwear. There is no doubt that the right fit and comfort are contributing factors to deliver a safe working day. Thank you very much for watching.